Okay, so thank you so much for joining this session. My name is Victoria, if I've not met you before, and I'm one of the careers and employability trainers. So I might have had a session with you before, not too sure. But if I have, it's lovely to see you again. And if not, then it's great to meet you. So today is all about staying positive when graduate job hunting. So are you guys all in your final year at the moment, or a few of you master's students? Just let me know where you're kind of up to on your university journey. That'd be really helpful. And what we are going to do in today's session is just give you some tips really on how you can stay positive when you are searching for your graduate jobs, and how that can actually help keep you motivated and keep you consistent as well. And then we'll just set some achievable goals for you when it comes to your job search. So it would be really, really helpful just to know kind of where you're up to on your quest for your next job. And the first thing that I really want to sort of tap into is what you're feeling at the moment when it comes to your job searching. So are you feeling quite positive at the minute, or is there anything in particular that you're worried about, or anything that you've come up across that hasn't been great on your job search so far? So just let me know, either unmute yourself if you want to chat to me, or just pop in the chat box kind of your current feelings at the moment. So any initial hopes or fears that you've got around job searching. That'll help me kind of tailor this session a little bit. If you're all feeling good, that's great. But if there's anything in particular that you're concerned about, or anything that you're really looking forward to as well when it comes to this job search, any particular roles that you're going for, what kind of industry you're going to go into, please do let me know. Okay, amazing. Thank you for that. So hoping to get some work while looking for a career in engineering. Amazing. Are you in your final year at the moment? Or are we just looking for something? Yes. Okay, amazing. Are you thinking of staying on and doing postgrad? Sometimes people become eternal students. Not right now, no. I left a gap between my BA and my master's as well, so I don't blame you. Okay, amazing. If you have got any questions as we go through this session, please do let me know. There are some activities as we go through as well, which, you know, you're going to get the most out of it the more you kind of engage with these activities. So any questions, please either unmute yourself or pop in the chat box. Okay, so let's move on then. So ways that you can actually enjoy the process. I think a lot of the time we can almost go into panic mode a little bit and feel, especially when we finish university, that, you know, we have to have our lifelong job. We have to find that career now. We have to find the most amazing job right now. And we create this pressure on ourselves. So really have a think about what it is that you want. Okay, so focus on jobs that you want, because people go from one extreme to the other. They either really put that pressure on, or they will apply for every job that they can find. And then actually, you know, they might be successful in obtaining that job, but then actually they're not particularly happy in that role, and then they end up job hopping. So actually make sure you're looking for jobs that you want. Okay, so think about why you are applying for the jobs that you are applying for. And it might be that they are a stepping stone. It might be that it's a temporary contract. And it might be that it's just something part-time because you want to actually have a bit of a work-life balance after you finish university. So all of those things are fine. That's great. Just make sure you know the reason why you're applying for certain jobs, because then you're actually going to be more excited about applying for them. And, you know, you'll actually enjoy the recruitment process a lot more. Whereas if it's a job that you're not really that fussed about, you're probably not going to enjoy the process very much. Okay, so remember also that job hunting is temporary. Okay, we don't do this all the time, and that's why it can be such a strange experience, and interviews can be a little bit strange because we don't do them all the time. Filling in application forms can feel a little bit sort of out of the norm because it isn't something that we spend a lot of time doing. So just remember that the hunt is temporary, And you can look at it as a bit of an exploration, a bit of curiosity as to, you know, what jobs are available in your industry. What is the job market looking like right now? You can have fun through networking and finding opportunities that way. But also, I think the lovely thing for new graduates is it's the first time that you are kind of in your new identity as a professional. So you might have had jobs before, you might have a job now that you've been working while you're at university, but that is in your identity as a student. So this is the first time you are actually applying for jobs as a professional, as a graduate. So you get to make your own professional identity and make your CV showcase your new professional identity. And that's really cool and really fun. And we've got some sessions later on this week all about that, all about creating your personal brand, all about selling yourself and selling your skills and making it fun. Okay, so they're just some ways that you can enjoy this process a little bit more. So I hope that makes sense. But as always, any questions, do please shout out. All good? Okay, I just wanted to pop this in here as something for you to have a little look into. So you may have come across this before, especially if you have had any sessions from the careers trainers. You may have even had your academic staff go through this concept with you. Has anyone heard of Ikigai before? It's a Japanese concept, and it's all to do with your reason for being. Don't worry if you've not heard of it. But if you have, let me know. This is a really nice model. I love working with this model because it gets you to kind of think outside the box a little bit. And it comes back to, you know, the jobs that you're looking for and why you are looking for those particular roles. So just for the next couple of minutes, if you want to share your thoughts in the chat box as well, because that will help me give you more advice if you want me to, have a little think about things that you're passionate about. Okay, things that you love doing, things that you could not go a week without. Okay, what are those things? What are those passions? And then we can look at your values. So the things that are really important to you. So almost like your morals. Okay, we've then got your gifts. So these are the things that you're good at. Okay, what are your skills? What are your talents? And then what things could you be paid for, right? What are the possibilities? What does the world need more of? What does your industry need more of? And when we look at those 4 areas, you can see from the diagram on the screen, they kind of overlap. And that central point where they all overlap is your Ikigai, or your reason for being. Now, that's the sweet spot, okay? If we manage to get a role or a job or a career that overlaps all of these areas, you will be really fulfilled through your job, okay? So that's awesome. If you can manage that, amazing. If you can't manage all of that through the career that you're going into or through the jobs that you're searching for, just by having an awareness of these other areas, you'll help yourself to find that fulfillment through other things like your hobbies or your social life. Okay, so just spend a few minutes just having a little think about these and just seeing how they potentially overlap. Okay, and if you have got any questions or if there's anything that you would like to share, then please do feel free. We do a lot of work with this, especially with first years, actually. So you may have remember this from first year, possibly, if you had sessions with the careers trainers. It's a great way of thinking of other ideas as well. So you might be thinking at the moment, so for example, that you want to have a career in engineering. You might not want to do that right away. So you're looking for some other work in different areas. So have a think about what things you just enjoy. Okay, might be completely different to engineering, but something that you're actually really good at and that you love, and actually is going to benefit the local community or the city that you live in. Okay, so it can just help you think of different opportunities rather than having that one track mind, because that's something else that can sort of inhibit your job search as well. So just by being a little bit more open to different opportunities and ideas, this can help you. If you are quite into this kind of work as well, if you are quite into like psychology and mindset kind of stuff, there's lots of videos of this on YouTube, and also lots of different books that you can get that are pretty reasonably priced as well. So you can have a little bit more of a deeper dive into this and just see what comes up for you. It's especially helpful as well if you're not really sure what you want to do. And, you know, I was like that when I finished university, even though my degree was quite specific. I did my undergrad in events management. I wasn't sure what area of events I wanted to go into, if I wanted to go into that industry at all. So this can just help you with generating ideas as well, and just sort of tapping into what it is that you're good at, what you enjoy, what you value. And I think that's really important, especially when it comes to your career. You know, if you're doing a job that aligns with your values and your morals, that you feel good about being a part of, then that goes a really long way. I've got comments there. I think my passion is the environment, which could overlap with engineering. Absolutely, it could. Most definitely. So that might be a particular area that you want to maybe look into, or have some work experience in the environmental side and then link that up with engineering later on. That's a great mixture. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else got anything they would like to share, or any questions before we move on? All okay? Okay, fabulous. The next thing I'm going to give you are just some activities to try in your own time that just kind of link to that purpose. But these are things that are really good to do when you've got maybe 20 minutes where you're not going to be disturbed, where you can just settle down with a cuppa, pen and paper, and just write. Okay, so it really helps get things off your chest and out of your mind as well. So the first little activity for you is, you would literally on the top of your paper write, what is your purpose in life? Which is a pretty big question. So it does link into what we've just been talking about. But it is said by a lot of psychologists that if you do this exercise, just write whatever things come up. You know, there might be all kinds of things that come up for you. If any of them make you cry, that is said to be your purpose and the thing that you should be really focusing on and really going for. So I've done this exercise. I didn't actually quite cry, but you do feel a different emotional reaction. Okay, so as you write down ideas, just answering that question, it's like asking yourself, you know, who are you? You know, what do you want to be? Who do you want to become? You know, what is your purpose in life? Anything that comes out that actually hits a bit of a chord and gives you a bit of an emotional reaction is something I would encourage you to look into, because if you can make a career out of that, you will have a very happy working life. Okay, so something just to consider rather than just going into a shoebox of what you think you should do. Okay, there's so many options available to you right now. Even if your degree has been really specific, that doesn't mean you have to follow a specific path. Okay, you can go wherever you want to go. The second activity that you can have a little go at is, what does a perfect day in work look like? Okay, or a great day, or your ideal day in work, and really focus on those really magical, worthwhile moments that you remember from a day at work. And you might have had this already, you know, you might have had a job and there's a particular day at work that really stands out as being a really good day. Okay, so just have a little play, write a story about what a great day in work looks like for you, because that's going to be different for everyone. And it's not something that we often think about. We just think, oh, well, I need to go and get a job as a lawyer or working in finance or whatever it may be. Okay, but actually, what would make a great working day for you? Okay, so you can start to look at the things that are really important to you, and that will help you with your job search as well. And it'll keep that excitement for your job search, because you'll have tapped into actually what's important and to the emotions as well. Okay, I will send these slides for you also, so you have got these to look back on, but they're just two really good activities that can just help you look at your job search in a different light. Any questions on those two? You'll have my contact details when I send these out for you as well. So if you do have any questions that pop up when you're having a go with these, you can just reach out to me and the careers team. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to talk about is another way of keeping you positive during this job search is actually visualizing success. We can often get very stuck in the moment of endless application forms and tailoring your CV 10,000 times, scrolling through job sites, sending endless speculative applications to people. And we can sometimes forget why we're actually doing it. Okay. So something that can really help is actually visualize what would success be like for you, because it might be very different for everyone. So some people might see success as being in a really high-end, powerful, fast-paced corporate job. For others, that might be traveling the world, helping children, doing artwork and sharing your gifts. Okay. It might be very, very different for everyone that's on this call. So have a think about what success would look like for you and how you would feel once you had that success. Okay, how would you act and how would you behave if you were already in that role that you want? Because you can start to act like that anyway, and that really helps you sort of absorb that new professional identity, because it can be quite a transition going from student to professional. Okay, especially when you've been at university for 3-4 years, sometimes longer, to then go from that lifestyle to a professional, whatever that looks like for you, can be a big jump. Okay, so start to think about how you would act and behave in that job role, and then start to do that before you even have that job. And it'll help you get in the right frame of mind, and you'll naturally actually be more attractive to employers that way as well, which is great. And the other thing you can do is see who has what you want already. So who is already in the role that you want, who already works in that industry that you want to be part of. See how they got there. If you can, speak to them and find out what their journey was and if they've got any advice for you. Okay, so that can really help, just again, keep you motivated, keep you driven, because you can remember what it is you're actually working towards. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Any questions, do let me know. So just moving on to preparation then. So actually the practical side of your job hunting. There's different ways that you can do this, and hopefully you will have seen all the different sessions that we have running this week for you as well. So we can help you with all of these different elements. But the 3 areas that I want to touch on, the first is through networking. So a lot of you probably already use social media. You may already have a LinkedIn profile, which is great. And you can also go along to networking events. Okay, so we've had a couple actually at Student Life Building already. There's some happening online still as well. So keep an eye out for any events that might be of interest, especially in your industries, but also start to use your social media platforms, and especially LinkedIn, which is a professional social media platform, just to start to speak to people. Look at who has that job that you want. Look at who is working in the companies that you want to work for. And again, it can help you get ideas as well. Okay, so really great to do. And that will prepare you, and it actually helps you with your job applications as well. You're also going to want to be doing some research as you go through this process. And this will either be something that you will love or hate. It's a little bit like Marmite. Hopefully you will love it, especially if you are going into the right industry for you. Okay, so keep your eye on industry news, keep looking at different job roles that are coming through. Look at different recruitment agencies as well, because certain sectors will actually have their own specialist recruitment agencies. So check those out. Also check out what recruitment processes your industry uses. Okay, so if you have any idea of what you're going into, do let me know, because I can potentially give you a bit of extra guidance on what they kind of do. But that's something that will be really important for your job search. And it can get you really excited, because you start to immerse yourself into the industry, into the job that you're hopefully going to be going into. Okay. Remember, there's different methods of job searching as well. So we are doing sessions on the hidden jobs market. So it doesn't have to be, sitting on job sites and scrolling endlessly through all the job vacancies that are advertised on there, because actually it's only a really small percentage of jobs that are actually advertised and fulfilled on the traditional job sites that we use. So your best bet really is to go through networking and to send speculative applications, which is going to come from your research. Okay, so if you want to know more about these kind of things, we have got a session later on this week as well. Okay, but preparation will really help you, and that will keep you in that positive frame of mind as well. I think there's nothing worse than applying for jobs and searching for jobs when actually you have no idea what you're looking for. And especially now as well, like a lot of job titles aren't things that you would kind of know to search for. It might be a title that you've never heard of and you don't really know what that means, but actually when you read it, when you look at the job description, it's the perfect role for you. So having alternative methods can be really, really helpful in helping your search. Okay, I wanted to just touch on handling rejection as well. Has anyone experienced this before in a professional sense? Has anyone had an interview and not been successful, or sent applications through and then had a rejection letter from them? Just let me know if this is something that you've had to deal with before. We've got a thumbs up. I'll take that as a yes. Is there any way in particular that you find that you deal with it or that you handle it? Does it affect you, or do you normally bounce back pretty quick? It's a little bit to do with resilience, I guess, with this, and kind of having that bounce back and not taking things too personally. When I did plumbing, finding an apprenticeship was impossible and led me to giving up. Oh, bless you. Oh, you never know. Doors might reopen again for you. But yeah, sometimes I think we're going to talk about scarcity actually later on as well. But yeah, it can lead to you giving up when you just can't find exactly what it is that you're looking for. But I think with rejection, and I'll come back to that scarcity in a second, I wasn't too disappointed, really. I think it was the first proper one I applied for, so I expected it. Okay, fair enough. I think it's a tricky one with rejection. And, you're right. If you expect it, it's challenging, really, because when we expect something to happen, 9 times out of 10, that is exactly how it goes. So in a way, we kind of want to shift your mindset to expecting that you're going to smash it. You're going to absolutely smash it, and you're going to get the job that you want. And of course, that can be easier said than done. And it is all about your mindset and your attitude to this, which is why this is so important. Because if you expect that you're not going to get a job, and you're sending out all these applications and you think none of these are actually going to go anywhere, that's probably what you're going to find happens. But if we actually look at this as you are applying for jobs that you really want, because you've thought about the reason you're applying for each of these jobs, you might have looked a little bit deeper into your purpose and your passions and actually what you want to do, even if it's not 100% directly related to your degree. That's no problem. You've got transferable skills and a heck of a lot of knowledge there, so that can apply onto your job choice as well. But when we have these things, there's so many choices available to you, and I think that can be either a blessing or a curse. But if you think you're applying for these jobs that you really want, one of them is for you. Okay, and it sounds a little bit dippy and a little bit, sort of relying on fate a little bit. But if it's meant to be your job, it will be. Okay. And also remember, this is a two-way street. So as much as you are applying to work for these people, they have to be a fit for you as well. Okay. It's the same when you're at an interview. An interview is a two-way process. So yes, you are being interviewed, but you are also checking if that company and that job and that type of organizational culture is also right for you. So you might even get a job offer and think, you know what, actually, that isn't for me. And then, it's flipped on its head, isn't it? Because you've then technically rejected them. And I think the word rejection is something that we do think is a negative, but actually all that does is shows you that one wasn't meant and you were supposed to go a different direction. So perhaps with the plumbing, you weren't supposed to do plumbing, you were supposed to come into engineering or environmental work. Okay. It's like one door closes, another door opens. And actually, the quicker you can get through those rejections, the better. Okay. And it's all about choices. So if you can see them rather than being rejections, that you have now just got to look at a different choice. Okay. It can just help, but it is all to do with your mindset. And it does happen. Of course, it happens. It will happen throughout your entire career. Okay. It doesn't just happen when you finish university. It doesn't just happen to students. It happens to all of us. Okay. And it is solely because that's not meant for us. Other people would be a potentially better fit. And it's not even necessarily a personal thing. It's because they know who is actually going to work with the team that they've got. And they may just have different personalities in there that actually just don't blend with your personality. And it's actually a great thing that they've not put you in there. I've been in jobs before, and, you know, the team has been a complete shambles, shall we say, because there was just arguments and clashes because they hadn't really thought about, when they recruited, having people that would complement each other. So it's really, really important that they do that, okay, if they are recruiting in the proper manner. So another way that we can sort of help ourselves with this resilience, if you like, is by having a bit more of a growth mindset. So again, have a little look at this on YouTube if you want to. This was a concept from psychologist Carol Dweck. You may or may not have done work around this before, but this is all about, you know, the mindset that it's not a one-way kind of street, okay? And our intelligence isn't fixed. There isn't a set amount of jobs available to us. You know, there's only so many interviews you can have, and then, you know, your time's up, you can't have another one. Growth mindset is all about having more opportunities and seeing more opportunities, and seeing every opportunity that you have, every rejection that you receive, as a learning exercise that you can reflect on and see what went wrong, okay, or why it wasn't a fit. So if it can help you, you know, think about how application forms are beneficial. So every time you spend time filling out an application form, what benefit is that giving to you? Every interview that you have, how is that a beneficial experience? Okay, every job that you have, even if it's only a job for 2 weeks or even a weekend working at an event, you know, how is that of benefit to you? What do all of these things give to you? Okay, even if they don't necessarily lead anywhere long term, how are each of these elements beneficial? Okay, they help you learn, they help you reflect, they also help you refine. You know, we've seen it a lot where students have thought they wanted a specific job, then they've looked at the application form and thought, these questions aren't, you know, what I would expect from this particular role. Then they've had an interview and they just didn't really feel the vibe, or they didn't really gel with the people that were interviewing them. And that is so, so important, because they're going to be your work colleagues. So, you know, just those experiences on their own, they can tell you actually what you don't want. And it is so much better to find that out in the job hunting process, rather than get into a job, find yourself stuck because you can't leave, because you have financial commitments, for example, and then you end up there for 40 years in a job that you don't enjoy, with people that you don't get along with. So all of these elements of job hunting are a great learning experience, and they can actually help you narrow things down as well, because you have so many options available to you right now, which is awesome. And that's great fun. And these things should be fun as well. Your work experience should be fun. Your interviews get to be fun, and your applications should be enjoyable as well. Okay, because you're getting to know yourself better, you're showcasing yourself, and you're getting to know different companies that you can potentially work for. Okay, so super, super important. And this does connect to what we briefly mentioned before. So about scarcity or scarcity. So we see this a lot as well. You know, a lot of the time we think there's only so many jobs available and the competition's really high. And we hear this a lot as well. You know, the jobs market's crashing, or there's not enough jobs compared to the number of graduates that are out there. There are thousands of jobs. Okay, it's just knowing where to find them. So if you haven't already, I do recommend you sign up to the hidden jobs market session that we have this week. I think it's on Thursday. Again, that will really help you. But there are so many jobs. We actually have the opposite problem, that there's more jobs than we have people to fill them. So if we have that attitude, again, the process gets to be more enjoyable, and actually you then find that you have several job offers and then you don't know which one to choose. So you have the opposite problem then. But if we go out there and we think, you know, do you know what? There's no jobs in engineering, then chances are you're not going to find any jobs in engineering. But if you have the mindset of actually there's loads of jobs in engineering, it's just where to look for them. think outside the box a little bit, start to research companies that you would want to work for, start to network with people online that work in that industry, and you will see just how many opportunities there are. And there'll be things that you have never even thought of. And like we said before, you know, the job titles aren't necessarily the titles that we would search for. So scrolling on job sites for hours on end isn't going to be the most productive use of your time. Okay, tapping into that hidden job market is going to be a bit more beneficial for you. But just remember, there are so many jobs out there. Yes, there's competition. Yes, you want to be showcasing yourself the best that you can, but there are plenty of jobs to go around. Okay, so just something really important to remember. There is a job out there for you. There are several jobs out there for you. It's just a case of being open to them. Okay, so don't try and avoid that kind of panic that there's no jobs and we can't find anything, because I promise you there are, and we get hundreds of them, and we get notified, and you know, we have employers come in because they're recruiting. And you know, the last fair that we had in student life building, there were so many opportunities there, and there weren't enough students that came to the event to take up those opportunities. So, and that was just in one room. Okay, so there's hundreds of opportunities available to you. Okay, has anyone got any questions up to this point? You all okay? I'm just going to touch on this ever so slightly on your confidence and self-esteem, because this can have a huge impact on your job search as well, especially if you don't feel like you are able to do a job, or you don't feel like you deserve a particular job. So when we talk about confidence, this is your belief that you are actually capable of doing a job. And this is something that does, you know, it presents itself a lot with graduates, because you're fresh out of uni and you might not necessarily believe that you have all the skills and the knowledge to do a job that you're applying for, you know, especially if it's a slightly higher level job. You might think, I can't do that because I'm just a graduate. Okay. If you do feel like that, then have a look at everything that you have achieved. Look at all your skills, look at the work experience that you've already had. Even if it wasn't in a related industry, look at all the skills that it has given you that transfer into the industry or the job that you're applying for. Okay, so really take that time to recognize your own achievements and look how much you've grown. So if you look at, you know, how you were when you were in college or before you came to university, and where you're at now in terms of your knowledge and your skills, there'll be a huge difference. You know, look back at your first year assignments and you will see exactly how much you've grown and how much you've developed. Okay, so just because you're fresh out of uni does not mean that you are any less qualified for the jobs that you're applying for. Okay, and I think it's really important to keep that in mind. And quite often, employers will prefer graduates over someone who has been around for 40 odd years or whatever. Okay, because they get to have a fresh set of eyes, they get to have a whole fresh energy. You're new, they can mold you to sort of how they work, how they operate, and what they would find most beneficial really in their latest member of the team. Okay, so don't let that hold you back. If you see a job and you think, I would love to do that, go for it. Okay, of course, make sure you are checking like the person spec in the job description. And if it is, you know, asking that you are a qualified surgeon and you're not, you've done a degree in marketing, then obviously that is a bit of a mismatch. Okay, but if you're looking within your sector, within your industry, or within something that does match your skill set, go for it. And again, remember, with the self-esteem side of things, you know, you are no longer going to be a student. Okay, you are a professional, you are a graduate, and that means that you are deserving of a graduate salary. Okay, this can often be a stumbling block, and I've even seen students who, you know, when they're searching for jobs and you can actually change like the salary of the job, they will limit the maximum salary because they think that they're only deserving of minimum wage or whatever. So that can obviously inhibit your job search as well. Okay, whereas if you have a more positive outlook on this and think, you know what, I've just invested thousands of pounds in my education. I've invested 3-4 years of my time building my knowledge and skills. I've done XYZ work experience. You are a catch for these employers. Okay. And again, it just comes down to that attitude and that mindset. And it's just a different outlook rather than feeling, do you know what? I'm still a student, really. I'm not quite there yet. I don't think I've really done anything the last 3 years. I've only ever had a minimum wage job. So am I really worthy of anything more than that? That's going to really limit you, and it's not going to be the most pleasant experience. Okay. So just try and come back to this and give yourself a bit of a pep talk if you need to. Okay. Really, really important. It will keep you much more positive. It will keep you motivated for sure as well. Okay. The last thing that I want to cover is just some goal setting. So this can be helpful when it comes to a job search, because we often find, we don't have the energy to be hunting for jobs consistently for a long period of time. So just ask yourself, if you're starting to job hunt right now, if you're starting the search right now, then what you would like to achieve over the next week or two. Okay, maybe up to the next month if you really want to. But, remember, we are quite cyclical beings. We don't have full energy for an entire month. We kind of go in waves, we go in dips. And especially if you've had dissertations or exams recently as well, allow yourself to have a little bit of a break, but have a think about what you would like to achieve when it comes to your job search over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so just make a little note of some ideas. Do you want to get your CV sorted? Do you want to set yourself up on LinkedIn? Do you want to start sending messages to people in your industry? Do you want to start looking for any networking events that might be happening? Do you want to check out what other events we've got on this week that might help you? So have a little think about your short-term goals. Okay, we know the long-term goal is to secure a job, but just break it down. Okay, what do you want to do in the next week or so? Always ask yourself why. Okay, it seems a little bit of a bizarre question, but ask yourself why you're doing this. Why are you looking for these particular jobs? Why do you want to network with people in your industry? Okay, might be that you then think, actually, no, that's not what I want to do, and that's fine. Okay, but just ask yourself why. Double check in on yourself. I think it's also important to make sure you're doing these things for yourself rather than any external influences as well. Okay, you might be being influenced by family members, by friends, even by your academic staff. So just make sure you're checking in with yourself and asking why you want to achieve your short-term goals. Okay, and then lastly, you can screen them. So what we mean by screening your goals is just checking, what resources do you need? Do you need any support? Do you need any particular training on one of your goals? Do you need certain resources? And, is there anything that's likely to get in the way as well? So if you're looking over the next couple of weeks, but actually you've still got assignments to submit, that is something that would come up in your screening process as a potential challenge or a potential obstacle. Okay, so once we've identified that, we can think, okay, well, is this the right time, or is there a work around this? So basically check in, do you have what you need to achieve your goals? If not, can you get hold of it? And is there anything that's likely to get in the way of these goals? Okay, we can preempt it, we can get over it. Okay, so I'll just give you a couple of moments to have a little bit of a think. If you would like to share anything in the comments, then feel free, or if you're not too sure and you need any guidance, then just let me know. And then we're almost at the end. It's a lot to get through in a short space of time. So just thinking, what would you like to achieve when it comes to your job hunt over the next week or two? What stage are we at? If you're completely unsure where to start, let me know and I can potentially help you as well. It might even be that you just start to look at the activities that you've been given today, or you start to have a little play with Ikigai and have a think about what it is that you want to do. So this week I'm looking to improve my CV and things using info from the webinars while applying for part-time work. Perfect. That is a great short-term goal. That's something that is perfectly achievable over the next week as well. And yes, these webinars hopefully will really, really help you find out some tips and tricks as well, which is great. And then applying for part-time work. Perfect. I think that Ikigai will really help me. I will start looking more at it. It's great. I absolutely love it. It's a really, really good concept. And it's something I come back to it every now and again for myself as well. It's really good to look at, and not just on like a professional side of things. You know, it just helps you check in. You know, are you living your best life? You know, especially after what we've been through the last couple of years, I think a lot more people have started to, you know, kind of consider, you know, what is really important? What do I actually love doing? What do I want to do more of? So yeah, really, really important. There's loads of resources as well, but if you get stuck, by all means, reach out to us and we can help you. Okay, amazing. So the last little thing I've got for you is just a reminder of our contact details. Okay, so you have, of course, you've been on one of the sites because you've booked onto this session, so you can see all the events that we've got this week, but you have also got Career Zone 24/7. You've got job searches as well. So this is all on the careers site. You've got Unitemps, which if you're not already registered with Unitemps, they're like our recruitment agency at the university, and that is open to you as a final year, as a graduate as well. So definitely worth registering with Unitemps. And of course, we've got the job search facility as well. Those of you that are looking to improve your CV, Career Zone 24/7, you've got a CV checker. So it'll give you instant feedback on your CV. Once you get to interview stage, there's an interview simulator and all kinds of goodies on there as well. And of course, you can always book a one-to-one appointment with our advisors. So they are doing appointments face-to-face and over the phone and on Zoom. So you've got loads of different options. If you're not in Liverpool anymore, if you've gone home or whatever over the summer, then we can still support you while you're away. So all our contact details are on there for you, should you need us. And has anyone got any questions before we finish up? Are we all okay? If you think of anything, you've got our email as well, so you can pop us a message and I will send these slides over for you so you've got a copy. And I'll hopefully see you at the other sessions we've got this week as well. But I hope that has been useful. You're very welcome. Thanks so much for joining. I will hang on for a minute or two just in case anyone has got any questions. I'll pop the recording off as well, just in case you've got any questions that you don't want to be recorded. I will pop that off now.